Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Conrad Stevenson's Paranormal PI. And before I go, actually, let's take a look at slime, see if I can afford anything. I cannot. Well, I could probably get the MF pod, but... Okay, so, it's not going to be an EVP thing, so I'm just going to take this, and this, and this, and we'll set up this to get photographs of the poltergeist activity. We won't need the EVP. Here we go. This should be our last ghost that we need to release. Let's see what he says.
I think I've got about half of the Wens family's ghost concerns resolved. Still a lot of investigating is left to resolve their concerns.
More than half? You got 2/3. Okay, so first things first, we're going to set up the camera. To try to catch activity. Then we're going to go find the relic, and we're going to try to capture some temp. Temperatures might be hard to get because I'm not sure. Yeah, we're going to do that. Then we're going to go out here. The poltergeist I have very little information on. Could be in a number of people. The Kramers did default. We're looking for like a jug or jar or something. Cup of tea?
These lights are acting funny. I should continue investigating. The EMF meter should not behave this way. This is paranormal.
Okay. Or she could have it default to Celsius. Yes, I'm American and I prefer Celsius. I lived 7 years in Japan, so longest period of time
Looks like just a cold spot.
on my
Nothing
own.
paranormal.
Well, actually, the largest period of time where I lived in a place where temperature mattered
What was that? I'm glad I captured it with a recorder.
significantly. I mean, now it does with the heat waves and such, but where it mattered significantly was in Japan, and they use Celsius everywhere. So I've gotten the biggest fluctuation in temperatures where I lived in a place where I lived was in Japan. In memory, I lived in Kansas City too. That was pretty hefty fluctuations, but that I was a kid and didn't really little kid, so didn't pay attention as well. Come on. I could just get started on the release.
I'll keep that as audio evidence. This photo with the recorder evidence supports a poltergeist being present.
Nice. I don't need this much anymore. Let me go ahead.
This photo with the recorder evidence supports a poltergeist being present.
Okay, cool. We're gonna put this out again anyway. Now I know what was being thrown around, and that was an impressive throw. It got from there to here. Yeah. Okay. Still need temperature. I don't know that there is temperature on a poltergeist, actually. EMF, yes. You know what? I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to go ahead and go get the rosemary smudges. I wish you could access your help in here. I mean, Conrad would know this like by heart. He labeled things the way he did. So, okay, that is mugwort. We want that. Yep. Oh, it's a new one. Okay, rosemary. I've picked up all the other three, all the other four. So rosemary's a new one. So now that I've picked it up. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay. Um. Okay. Oh, hello. Where's my recording device? Oh, there we go. Books of Corpses says what stanzas used to close. Okay, stop releasing. Okay, I am going to have to go back. I have to look at the Book of Corpses. Okay, there's a different situation for Poltergeist. Got it, got it, got it. Okay. I need to go look in my wiki. Okay. Back to learning. Yep, good. None of these. Got some audio, very little bit of audio. And quite a bit of that. Okay. Okay, cool. The wiki. Spirit guide. Do ghosts, let's see here, EVP non-existent. Stanza 134 from Book of Corpses. Okay. Strange audio. Okay, temperature drop does happen prior to an activity. EMF spike occurs after. Okay, so there is temperature drops. Okay, cool, cool, cool. We don't need demonology for this house. Midsummer of 1982. Demons. Okay. And then tutorials and locations. Oh, we'll have to do this. Okay. There's more information in the wiki. Okay. Excellent. Good to know. I'll have to read that in a little bit, but first, that probably would have made things a lot easier. Okay, what's this? Not related to me. Okay. Oh, need notes. Pretty sure the family thing isn't until much later. Like, by much, it's not really much later. It's an hour or two. Let's see. There we go. Checking the conversations. Yeah. 2:34 is best for us. Good morning. Anytime works for us. Okay. Yeah, 2-ish to 6-ish. Okay, so it's plenty of time. Okay. Um, for this anyway. Inbox. Kitchen stuff. The only ghost left. Okay, 134. You and you. Okay. Cool. Heading back. I've already kind of maxed out experience for this location.
I think I've got.
You don't have half. You have 2/3, 3/4 actually. So I'm not as concerned with any. I mean, anything is good. I'm getting close to not needing it anymore, though. You know what? Yeah, let's just focus on the release and find that cup of tea. I don't know who you are, though. Okay, cup of tea is here. Stop running. Kind of lucky. Okay, because I know there's like with the relics that can appear in like one of two places. 134.
O thou gates, who preservereth the conversion of realms for thy lords, I knoweth thy name. Give me leave to commune thy gates. Now I just need to find where the poltergeist is drawing energy from.
Okay. Uh, 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 um, is a thing. Okay. Gonna grab that. Gonna grab that. Gonna grab that. Seems great for identifying energy draws. First of all, I think I found where it's drawing energy from. That's not a photo?
Nothing paranormal about these temperature readings.
Okay, so this is how you do it. You look. Yep, okay, cool. Over here. None of these. Tammy wins.
Ugh, I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, no. Okay, we'll have to go get another. Okay. 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 Let's see if this actually still works. Oh, is it V? Okay, it's F. Okay, I don't think that matters. Okay. Okay, this one's still good. Come on. There
O
we go.
thou gates, who preservereth the conversion of realms for thy lords, I knoweth thy name. Give me leave to commune thy gates. Now I just need to find where the poltergeist is drawing energy from.
Okay. Let's take it off the sprint. Okay, William Carter was... Tammy Wentz is not a part of this. Robert Connor?
Thy unknown, whose allowance is impermissible on this plane, must removeth thy grip thee hast stolen from William Carter. It is yours no more.
It is William Carter again. William Carter was the one downstairs. He's a two-part ghost. Uh... Uh... Okay. What's the next part? William Carter was down here before. I like the fact this is like very subtly not Earth, or at least not normal Earth, by which I mean our Earth, because the religion is very subtly different. It's gone. Okay, let's try this again. What is the steps? This is very different for a poltergeist. Okay, let's put this up. Okay. Is there we go. Do I have like a time limit? Shift off.
O thou gates, who preservereth the conversion of realms for thy lords, I knoweth thy name. Give me leave to commune thy gates. Now I just need to find where the poltergeist is drawing energy from.
Okay, that is over here. And this is William Carter.
Thy unknown, whose allowance is impermissible on this plane, must removeth thy grip thee hast stolen from William Carter. It is yours no more.
Where's part 3? I'm going to have to look up a guide for this because I'm just completely stumped. Are you upstairs? Whose energy has stolen from this location? This is Elizabeth Carter.
Thy unknown, whose allowance is impermissible on this plane, must removeth thy grip thee hast stolen from Elizabeth Carter. It is yours no more.
Okay, is that finished?
O thou gates, who preservereth the conversion of realms for thy lords, I knoweth thy name. Give me leave to suppress thy gates.
Okay.
It creeps me out every time I send a poltergeist back to wherever it came from. I should make sure this relic is on me when I leave.
Yeah, okay. There's no more ghost activity going to be happening here because that was the last ghost. Okay, so it had to attach itself to 2 other ghosts. You'd think that releasing those 2 ghosts. Oh, maybe you have to release ghosts before you release the poltergeist. Zero, zero, zero. Apparently, taking a photo of a gate doesn't count. Outstanding. Oh yeah, we got a lot of evidence because we released a ghost. So we should be able to get the really good uh, Paravox thing. And Evergreen Lane is complete. I imagine you can pick those up and take them back just in case you didn't get to 500 XP and you need more XP for a site. So you can. Okay, so let's look at the wiki real quick. Locations. Congregational Church New Eidolon was finalized in 1763. This was a trying time for New Eidolon's various faithful communities and was further strained by the church's construction. Families and friends were torn apart due to differing religious convictions. The new movement of evangelicalism was aggressively challenging the old strict traditions of the Puritans. It is unclear why the decision to build this church was made, but the after effects are undeniable. Construction immediately forced families to confront their religious differences. Every Sunday, the community could see which church different people would attend. Individuals not aligned with their family's faith were outcasts. While neither church condoned violence, many physical disputes occurred. The Congregational Church's first reverend was a great healing force for this disturbance. Within the first decade of his ministry, the community was again one large family. However, all quickly changed when the War for Independence broke out. New Eidolon's supply chain, used to maintain all aspects of life, was destroyed. In order to salvage the town, many folks migrated south to the settlement of their forefathers. The proximity to the sea allowed for expedited reconstruction of the township, which is where the historical district is located today. The migration exacerbated the strain felt by those who chose to stay and ultimately led to other decomposition of the church. But it got better. Although the town of New Eidolon was founded in mid-17th century, the oldest establishments in the historical district were built in the following century. All of the original settlements were destroyed during the native raids of the late 17th century, forcing the townsfolk to migrate across the river and north to get higher ground. This secured a more defensible position against native. Really? Consequently, as the death toll rose, bodies were buried under what is now cemetery on Spruce Street. The land where the cemetery resides is perhaps the oldest construction within the town. The graves closest to the front gate have long eroded away. Their epitaphs are the oldest dating back at the dawn of the 18th century. This time was challenging for the town's residents, and no doubt there are unsettled souls still lingering about. So that's going to be a place to look at. As the community of New Eidolon embraced the future moving into the 20th century, the wealthier citizens thought it best to be remembered for all eternity. In 1894, Pierre Lefebvre was commissioned to design and manage the construction of the mausoleum. Throughout the construction, everything went as planned, and in 1895, work was completed. But once community members started to assume residency, controversy arose. It's clear that only the elite could afford to be buried there. There was one instance in 1901 when a family had the money to buy their loved one within the mausoleum but was denied a plot. The family was not very wealthy and had no connection to any local politician. This sparked outrage and resulted in vandalism to the structure. Throughout the next few years, higher security for the mausoleum was employed, which only deepened the divide about this issue. Since security agents were on site day and night, protesting citizens could not vandalize as they would previously. Instead, they would leave it lit candles on the ledges of the entombed. The cemetery allowed candles to be placed at grave sites, so it was hard to manage who was doing what. Once a lit candle had burned itself out, a mess of dried wax usually engulfed the personal items left on the ledge, disrespecting the entombed elite. Although not very destructive, the gesture was symbolic of the lower class community members' disgust with the situation. But in 1905, a compromise was reached within the community when the outside gardens were replaced with tombs in which anyone who had the money could be buried. The decision squelched the issue. Additionally, crypts were created just south of the mausoleum after the incident in 1901 to provide a more lavish burial for those who could afford it. Mr. Lefebvre, unfortunately, was deeply associated with class segregation and was never able to establish his reputation as desired. He tried his best to distance himself from it in hopes to benefiting his career. Ironically, after Lefebvre and his wife passed away in 1908, they were both entombed in white marble sarcophagus right at the entrance. Oh, that's them. The elite of the community felt they wanted to honor Mr. Lefebvre for creating such a marvelous final resting place, regardless of his feelings on the matter. Unfortunately, Mr. and Mrs. Lefebvre were middle-aged and died unexpectedly in a carriage accident. The Lefebvre had no children, and no one knew any next of kin, so their wishes could not be communicated. The first documented case of paranormal activity in the mausoleum occurred in 1911. It was noted that a few candles were mysteriously placed and lit on the ledges of some entombed residents. This phenomena has occurred irregularly ever since. Skeptics, of course, simply believe that local kids light the candles as an ongoing prank. Intermittently throughout the years, folks have seen apparitions within the mausoleum as well as outside within the gated area. Interesting. This has further fueled the idea that the mausoleum is haunted. In the early 1900s, after the construction of the mausoleum, the community made it abundantly clear they did not appreciate the social divide manifested by the burial practices implemented, for only the elite were allowed to be entombed within the mausoleum. It was later determined that even Mr. Lefebvre, the architect of the mausoleum, was disgusted with how his creation evolved. As a result, by 1910, the cemetery director purchased land south of the mausoleum, expanding the cemetery. This provided comparable burials to what was available within the mausoleum. It took approximately 80 years before the area known today as the crypts became fully occupied. Technically, this area is not a crypt, but over time the name has adopted to help specify this area of the cemetery. In addition to needing clarity on which mausoleum a person would be discussing, it is likely that there was a lack of familiarity with the words mausoleum and crypt. The earliest reports of paranormal activity actually stated prior to this area being developed. Legends of the shadow in the forest, also known as red eyes, have been around for countless decades. Some of the earliest reports were documented by the original colonists. The first settlers had a strong fear of the native. Yes, I was complimenting you on not using sage, and then you do this. Lived in the area, and their folklore developed around this fear. After the crypt's construction, the witnesses observed shadows wandering on the road between the crypts and the woods. One might assume this is not mere coincidence. Other reports of paranormal activity have accompanied this area over the years. The body of a murdered woman was found here in the late 1940s. It is alleged her spirit can be seen wandering the grounds. Many folks over the years have reported other transparent beings. For example, a young Timothy has allegedly been seen playing around the southernmost section due to the circumstances. Interesting. There are more ghosts here that we haven't heard about. The southernmost section. Due to the circumstances associated with the woman who was found murdered, paranormal investigators believe there may be a connection between the two entities. Uh, This was the one that has notes. Okay. There are but rumors about when this structure was erected, not much more than a shack. It has surprisingly stood in timeless state for about 150 years. After the War for Independence Reconstruction period ended, the church needed permanent presence tending to the grounds. The Reverend at the time enlisted the Segerstein family as the groundskeepers. Records indicate Segerstein family moved into the residence on the property, implying the structure was already there. Nothing of this building is noted prior to this event, hence why its origin is unclear. Not only did Segerstein family ensure the church was in tip-top shape, but they also dug graves for their friends and family members. This created an unbreakable relationship between the Segerstein family and their property. For generations, their family maintained the role. In late 1950s, however, the church determined it was more cost-effective to pay a local contractor to maintain things as needed than to support a family all year long to do the work. Shortly after the church evicted the family, they determined the groundskeeper's residence was interesting enough to declare a historical site and started charging for guided tours. This idea helped sustain a neutral balance sheet for the church's groundskeeper's fees to the contractor. After years of tours, many have reported experiencing unexplainable happenings. Here we go. Native peoples of the surrounding area have long told stories of a malevolent spirit capable of possessing those that find themselves in peril. When men find themselves desperate for survival, where they must turn to a more bestial nature, the spirit of the redacted may seek them out to take advantage of their misfortune. These men would be plagued with desires of endless greed and hunger, and would often end with the affected person lashing out, killing, and even eating his once friends and neighbors. Yeah, friggin' you're doing this. The possessed would then flee into the woods and be transformed into a monster. Growing in size, his heart turns to ice, and a foul stench follows him wherever he goes. These creatures of legend supposedly roam the woods and nearby caves, luring hunting parties and gatherers into the territory. These unsuspecting parties would follow the sounds of screaming and pleas for help and confront the stranded. Young men and women would never be seen again. Cultures and stories mixed over time, and many immigrants seeing similarities between their own stories of werewolves and the native stories of this cannibalistic monster. Many retellings would include the man taking on the skull and antlers of a deer, though these were absent from the original tales. Many colonists who heard tales of the Winnetonk, I said it, redacted, chalked up these occurrences to bear attacks. However, the settlers would end up reporting their own encounters of some being with striking resemblance to the redacted. After the establishment of the church, loggers in the area reported a demon in the woods. They often reported hearing a strange bleeding noise ringing from the woods in the night. One man, Joseph Edwards, would investigate these noises and reported a hideous buck stalking men in the woods. He was widely disregarded by any authority, but the church warned it was an omen of sin and advised those who heard noises to pray to the Lord until all thoughts of the beast in the woods fade away. Okay, I'm not going to look at the Bar Harbor Lighthouse because I haven't done that yet. Plus, it's already 33 minutes in. So I'm going to cut it off here and try this again later. Uh, we can go free. What's his name? Pierre Lefebvre. Release him next time, I think. And maybe collect some information from the crypts while we're there. But for now, that's it. Talk to you later.